Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Today's podcast is sponsored by SLI Systems, providers of intelligent site search and navigation solutions. Learn more at sli-systems.com and listen to their interviews at ecommercepodcast.com.
Your path to e-commerce success starts right here. You're listening to Practical E-commerce, the podcast for e-commerce results.
We're talking today to Melissa Bramlage, the owner at SarahBearBaskets.com. We're interested in learning about all the exciting things she has going with her business. And so, Melissa, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
I'll try not to call you Sarah. I do that inadvertently a couple of times here and there. I'll apologize.
Everybody does it. I answer, so it's okay.
That's okay. All right. Well, let's maybe begin with some of the big picture items about why you started this particular business. When did it start? What was the inspiration? What were the circumstances?
It started originally with first prototype and idea in 2004. I had a daughter, Sarah, and after some time passed, after the postpartum period, I started getting my brain back. I needed a product that didn't exist when she was an infant, and it dawned on me a little while later that I could actually maybe make it. So I went looking for what I needed, which was a diaper caddy. I wanted something that would sit on my coffee table in my living room and hold the baby wipes container and the diapers and a pacifier and a birth cloth, and needed to hold them in place so that I could just reach them very easily and quickly and conveniently. And there wasn't such thing on the market that I could find in stores or online. So I decided to sit down at the kitchen table and make one. And I did, and it was pretty rough, but I gave it away to a friend, and she really liked it and used it, so a little fire got ignited. And one thing led to another, which is there's so many pieces in between there. But initial launch with the first prototype and first website was in 2004. The complete launch with Mountain Media and my final product was in May of this year, with the new collection and perfected product recently just available this month.
Well, that's quite a journey. That's probably the nutshell version of probably a pretty lengthy journey there.
Right.
Did you always consider an online option, or did you, and perhaps you do, sell at other channels? Do you retail this at other brick-and-mortar locations, or is this available only in an online environment?
I always wanted to have it on a website, and when I started, I'm a registered nurse, and I was never in business, so I thought I could just start a website and sell them. And I had a lot to learn. That's obviously not how it works. But I did start with the vision of having them on my own website, yes. I never wanted to own my own gift store and have a brick and mortar. I had a vision of my product, what I wanted it to be and do, to bring that to other people who own brick and mortar stores. And only recently am I beginning to get them out and offer wholesale costs. Up until now, a little while ago, they were just sold retail on my website.
Have you ever tapped into the online marketplaces like eBay or Amazon or Overstock?
Yes, through the couple years I've been at this, I tried an eBay, not a store, but selling them on eBay, and that didn't work for my product. It was it's a niche thing. It was something that it's a new product. There was not a diaper caddy available. A couple of similar things here and there, but nothing exactly like this. So people wouldn't have really found it because they didn't know what they were looking for.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
eBay wasn't really what I wanted. Didn't want it to look like an eBay item.
Sure.
It's a little higher end. It's kind of middle end. It's not a cheap item. It's not a real fancy high end item. So I didn't want that associated with it. But I did try it briefly. It didn't work for me. I spent a lot of months trying the Google pay-per-click, I think it's a wonderful program for the right company, but it wasn't a good fit for me. And a lot of that was inexperience, not knowing what I was really working with and how much it was really going to cost me. and you can lose your shirt really fast on the pay-per-clicks, and you got to be very careful on using that service.
I've obviously looked at your site, but for those who have not, maybe can kind of explain both the differences in some of the products you offer, perhaps the cost ranges, kind of what kind of marketplace are you to which you are targeting there?
It's the diaper caddy. It's a very simple invention. It's a fabric-lined wood basket. The fabric liner sits inside of a nicer style basket, and it has certain compartments that are shaped to fit things. There's nothing real fancy about it. They're just compartments. The baby wipes container fits in the center, and it's held between dividers. And then there's 4 compartments, cubbies, and 4 pockets. And it has a handle that is hinged and collapses down to the side. So the idea is that your baby's in one arm, and you're walking through the house, and you can have the diaper caddy in the other hand and move from room to room in the house, wherever the baby is, wherever you're going to put the baby down to change a diaper. And it came about because our baby nursery is on the 2nd level of the house, and when Sarah was little, I was always in the living room and in the kitchen. We changed her diapers in the kitchen, and we would do all kinds of things in the kitchen and then on the living room floor. We would always be in the living room, and I needed burp cloths. I had to get up and get them constantly. We changed diapers. We had a blanket on the floor of the living room where we would do that. So I wanted something that was where I was instead of taking her upstairs all the time. That's the whole idea of the invention, to hold the baby wipes container in place so that you can grab everything you need, your baby lotion, your diaper, and your wipes, with one hand, and keep the other hand on your baby because they squirm. And they like to roll off the couch or roll over or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, any of us who've had children can identify with any of that they are quite a wiggly lot, and it seems no matter where you're needing to change one, that all of your pieces never seem to be in one tidy little place. So
No, they don't. And it was hard to get up and run for the wipes, which was what I was always doing. And when I had my second baby, Nathan, I had one of the diaper caddies here, and it really did make my life easier. I mean, honestly, especially when he was home the first week or two, as a new mom, any new mom knows that when you're feeding these babies, they need diaper changes constantly, 10 or 12 a day, and through the night.
what you sell is a product of your own. you created it, your own invention there. How do you then handle the manufacturing of that? Do you have it manufactured? Do you go to market, purchase baskets, and then you customize it? Is all that outsourced to a certain location? How do you handle the product component after having created a product?
That leads me a little bit to the patent issue. I think I get that question a lot. I have this idea, should I apply for a patent? It's never a question that can be answered in a sentence or anything. It's a really kind of personal decision. It's something you need really strong professional advice on. So when I came up with this idea, I floated it around for a little while, and then I knew that if I was going to make a go of this, after some soul searching, I knew that applying for at least a U.S. patent was something I was going to do. But I phone interviewed 4 patent attorneys through the country, highly respectable ones, before I came to that decision. Did a lot of research on that aspect. So that's a separate issue. Taking that aside, the product itself, one of my number one goals is protecting the intellectual property. And I need to take that very seriously, and I do, because if it's something that people see as selling, there's going to be other copies that show up that have the same idea. So to get the product made now, I was getting it made in the U.S., and that was more costly than I was willing to do. I spent about a year trying to find U.S. manufacturers to work with me to get this product made to my specifications, number one, who could do the quality I wanted and get the product to me at the right price. And Mitch, honestly, I couldn't find anyone in the U.S. that could do that.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Now, another thing for the listener to understand is that I am just one person. I don't work out of the house much anymore. I do have office space, but I'm not in the business. I'm not a large company. I don't have a lot of people. I don't have those connections. So someone who does have that can get products made much easier. But for me, I found a sourcing consultant, and he has assisted in the outsourcing process. So yes, the answer is the product is made in Asia 100%. Some of the fabrics are made in the U.S., and I ship them over there to the factory, manufacturing source.
Then those products arrive to you assembled, and then you inventory those items, or do you drop ship them from your manufacturer?
I inventory the items myself and ship them out here.
Are there particular challenges working with an overseas manufacturer? I mean, obviously we think about language barriers, we think about perhaps shipping challenges, or are there certain challenges you faced there already that you've had to address?
There's so many, it would take me an hour to even just touch on it. I've had to develop levels of patience I never knew possible. And not to get too personal, but it's been hard, extremely challenging, because my tools are the internet, email, and telephone sometimes. And those are my tools to reach out to the world and find people who are the right people to work with. I had a disaster happen in April where I did receive a shipment that was completely wrong. It was shipped incorrectly. It was made incorrectly. It was a nightmare to fix, but I had to remain calm and fix that situation, which was done. And needless to say, I don't work with that manufacturer anymore. I was very, very fortunate to, along the way, get the mentoring and advice from a few key people who are in the baby product industry, who gave me the time of day and kind of, I think, felt bad for me and said, well, she really knows what she's trying to do. She just needs a little help finding the right people to help her. And that is hard to find because people are busy and they have their own businesses to run. And I think that they're a little wary of not knowing whether you're really serious or not about what you're doing. So the advice I give people, I get a lot of emails and such from especially women who have an idea or they want to start a business, and I just tell them no one on the planet is more interested in what you're doing than you are, and no one on the planet will make it happen except for you. So if someone comes along that says, well, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it, it's not going to happen. The only person that will take care of it is yourself. When I outsourced, it was challenging. The language barrier wasn't too bad with this manufacturer, and believe it or not, with my current maker, the process and the experience has been fabulous, but time-consuming.
Sure.
It takes a long time.
Sure. Is there part of the long-term plan of trying to put this on a large-scale option at kind of more, I don't want to say higher-end boutiques, but certainly reputable places, or even Walmart, for instance? I mean, is that any kind of a goal to get in a mass manufacturing scenario?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, when you say Walmart, there's a Walmart shopper and there's a Target shopper
right.
and there's a Nordstrom shopper.
That's right.
I think it remains to be seen where my product fits, and I don't even want to try to guess at that, but it's a nicer quality thing. It's not just like, it's something that it shelves pretty, it looks pretty, it's a nicer quality, but it's meant to be used. It's meant to get your hands on it and have your baby supplies in it and use it every day. So, yeah, absolutely, that's a goal of mine.
Being able to look back over the last few years, from the creation of a product and seeing it from its infancy to where it is now, are there things you would have done differently? I guess I'm looking for perhaps advice that if someone was in your shoes today with an idea, are there things you would tell them from your experience of don't head down this road, or perhaps do this? I didn't do this early enough. I should have done blank.
You need to research. You need to learn. You need to study what you're really trying to do. And part of that comes through is writing your business plan and actually putting things on paper. And people don't want to do that because they don't want to take the time. They just want to get into the goods, start moving things, start getting, let's go. I had to take myself back when I got into the process and say, wow, I need to sit down and put this on paper. And it was extremely painful to sit down on the financial part of a business plan and not know what. I had nothing. I couldn't even put a number on the computer screen. I didn't know what I was doing. So that's when I called the SBDC down in Albany, and that led me in the right direction, developing your cost flow projections. And, I didn't have any numbers from the past to work on, so I had to project, and that was painful too. But I literally went to the bookstore, Barnes & Noble, and got the books on starting a business in New York, Anatomy of a Business Plan, Girl's Guide to Starting Your Own Business. There's a million books on the shelves. You need to go there and spend a couple hours and find a few that have really dry nuts and bolts stuff in them on what to do, and you need to read them. That's my honest advice, is you need to not think that you know everything or this is what you think you want to do. Well, that's great, but is it going to work?